Well, hello, everybody. Here we are at Module 8. This is it, the end. The final work for this week has two parts. One of them is simply reviewing some grammar basics, and one of them is reflecting on what we've accomplished during this term. Now, that first part might strike you as a little backwards. Now that you have turned in your final milestone paper, we sit down to talk to you about how to punctuate and what it means when it's has an apostrophe. You might consider that this kind of reminder would have been handy before you finished your formal writing for the class. However, from my perspective, which seems to coincide pretty well with the perspective of our course designers, this ordering of things sends a good message. Often students get bogged down in the little things. And when it comes down to assessing their abilities, they will say something like, I'm a bad writer because they have issues with spelling. I can tell you right now, I have not seen any bad writers in our class, but I don't judge this based on your knowledge of semicolon usage. That sort of thing is trivial. What is important is your ability to convey ideas to express who you are and what you think. So that's really what we focus on in this class. And we leave the part about grammar until the end as a kind of afterthought because it's really just that. Yes, it will pay to take care of punctuation and grammar to make sure that your work looks professional. But no one ever said that it had to be you that was the expert who does this. I, for one, am a wretched speller. I consistently count on Word to keep me from looking too much like an idiot. That's not an issue. However, what would be an issue is if Word was highlighting something for me and I just ignored it. So the big lesson is use the tools you have, the resources at hand to fill in the gaps for where you might have weaknesses. It's what we do when we write, and it's how we get through our lives on a daily basis. So the second element for this week is about reflecting, and that one is fairly important. What we're asking you to take a moment and consider is what good has been done in your work during the last 2 months and what good this work will do for you as you move forward. Needless to say, the most pertinent element for most of you is that you are largely at the start of your path towards a degree, and you'll be taking many more classes that will ask you to write about your subjects in an academic manner. This class should serve as a practical reference for how to get this done. However, I always like to point out that writing is inherent to virtually every profession in some way. In a few years, you might be writing evaluations for employees. You might be taking notes to log into medical records for a patient. You might be preparing reports that your company will use to make major decisions. It will be essential to do all of these writing tasks clearly and effectively. Does academic writing let you do that? Well, it doesn't really line up in that way. However, what you've done is you've gone and learned the parameters for a certain type of writing. And this gives you practice in adhering to what is accepted within that style of writing. That in itself does give you good experience for any of those tasks. And that's because each of them will have accepted practices for getting them done. All you have to do is find the rules as you've done here and apply them. All right. So it is good practice in a way, and it is practical in a way. All right. So last week, if you need to talk with me about anything, if I've been in conversation with you about past due stuff, make sure that that gets taken care of. This is our last chance to, really get anything done. And I'll say now, the final deadline for the class really has to be the last day of class because I have a turnaround of just a couple of days to get grades in at that point. So if you are behind on stuff, make sure that you're getting it in, and everything must be in by the last regular day of class, which is, our final Sunday. All right. All right. So my last word is I've enjoyed working with you. And if you need anything in the future, please don't be shy. Let me know. All right. I'm not going anywhere. So everyone, for the final time, adios.